Now let's talk about Netflix, which we've never discussed on Hot Stocks before, which is sort of mad because we've talked a lot about them and about the business model. It's a content producer, but its biggest asset is that it has over 104 million subscribers around the world. I think of about half are in the US, 52 million or thereabouts. Content producer in the form of things like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black and that sort of thing. Market cap, $75.8 billion. Price to earnings ratio 215, so that's what you can take away, and definitely not paying any dividends, but a tremendous success story.
Yes.
And really a very significant user of bandwidth content. If you took at the total amount of data moving around on the internet, a lot of it is people watching Netflix.
Yeah, so so this whole issue of net neutrality has been quite important because they are really using the infrastructure of the net. The whole network to provide their services. So they rely, and that's interesting, a big limiter of the growth traditionally has been the access to broadband. And what we've seen in South Africa, the growth and advent of broadband, and Netflix has come in and will continue to do that in this market and many other markets. And I guess, so their future growth globally is tied to the growth of broadband. People
love, of course, American content. So they tie up their own productions in things like, as you said, or I said, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Narcos, that kind of thing. And then they also buy access to libraries of historic content because people like to watch shows that they read about or that come off the top list. You know, they do these deals with people like Adam Sandler. Everybody denies liking Adam Sandler movies, but then they all watch them. Nice.
On Netflix.
And they've got licensing concerns and issues, though, because like in South Africa, they sold a lot of shows to MultiChoice, but then had to wait for them to run off.
So I think that's what we're seeing is quite a fluid environment between the streaming services and the content providers, and so the cross-marketing, for example. Marvel TV is co-produced actually between Disney and Netflix, so that's going to stay on Netflix because they're part owners of it. But some of those Marvel movies, as we mentioned, are going to come off Netflix going forward. So I think there's going to be a lot of blurring in the short term, but it's clear they have to spend and invest a significant amount of money in their own content to be relevant.
So what we're talking about here is an entity which is very valuable because it's so top of mind. I mean, you know, there are all sorts of memes. People talk about Netflix and chill at home. We don't have to go into what that means. But, you know, it's just like Netflix has become a very, very visible and typical kind of thing for people to have.
Yes.
It's not easy, but it's a high-value, high-octane stock, and there's always the possibility that the likes of an Amazon or a Google will buy them because they want to get that subscriber base.
Yeah, so it may have got a little bit too valuable, but I mean, if you look at the subscriber numbers, they're substantial. I think they're forecasting around 150 million subscribers by 2019 globally. Which a third will only be in the States. So they've been able to manage to grow offshore, which is key, and also developing their own content. And I think that's been one of the key successes, that they have their own content, which is valuable. House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, hit shows, in fact.
Lots of those are only the two big ones, but there's a lot of content.
Absolutely. Documentaries, other types of content that people are clearly willing to watch as opposed to normal TV.
Let's look at the share chart because it's a handsome one. It's peaked at an all-time high of $189 a share in July, and it's just been a tremendous one to own. I bought some for myself in a different portfolio a good while back when they were like $20, and then I've added to them as they've gone along. Okay, so even at these current elevated levels, would you say it's hot or not?
So I mean, they've indicated negative cash flow for a number of years, but it's, as you said, a very valuable asset. And if we believe, and I do, that streaming is still in its nascency, is going to be the future of TV, which I think that's pretty clear, it has to be a have to own. So
hot. Good. Excellent. I'm hot in them too.